identification of training needs. Identifying with each other. Shortly after the course begins, it's important for the instructor and students to get acquainted with one another. Start the introductions with the qualified instructor and work your way around the room, allowing each individual in the room to state their name, a bit about themselves, and why they attended the course. QI should be taking notes. This is important to do when you first get into a classroom. Let's say you have 5 students. They're all sitting there, they're kind of nervous, they're all there for a reason. We don't know why. So we need to get acquainted with each other. So the first thing I would do when I step into a room to train, let's say 5 to 10 people, I'd say, hey, my name's Neil. I've been doing this for a while, traveling around the Midwest, teaching these courses from here to here, and I do it in a loop, and that's my story. So I read this book 1,000 times. And everybody else, this might take a while. Everybody else starts telling you, oh, I'm a fisherman. I'm here because my wife won't let me keep my boat if I can't make money, something like that. Or, you'll hear all kinds of things. Or, I'm in this class because I just want to know more about this. I don't even want a charter. I just have a 65-foot yacht. It'll come from all over the place. But identifying each people, and it gives them a chance to speak, and it gives them a chance to identify with each other. So, and it also allows you should be taking notes as the qualified instructor. Generally, when the students come in, they're going to sit in the same spot. So you can kind of make a seating chart and get their names and take some notes about each student. It'll help kick the class off and get related, help everybody relate to each other. And it can take a while. It could take once in a while you can't get carried away, but this might take an hour or so, an hour and a half for everybody to get their words out. Stories start flying, and you just gotta hopefully everybody starts talking a lot, and then you gotta kind of rein them back in and move forward. This simple exercise gives everyone a chance to put names with faces, creates associations to remember them, and is especially important for the QI to remember students' names and start making connections with the students from the beginning of the training session. The QI has the task of conveying information to the students that will be unfamiliar with, and it can be a daunting task. Students will go through emotional ups and downs, and the QI needs to be patient, calm, and relatable. Remembering a student's name is a vital part of relating to him or her. If a QI does not know the student's names after 2 days with him, it suggests that they are not invested in that student. Getting to know the students goes beyond remembering a student's name. A relationship between the student and the QI will develop, and the QI must learn what the student knows of the material as the course progresses. The level of understanding the student has achieved is measured by practice quizzes in the online classroom. When a QI knows what a student's learning, or conversely what they are not learning, the QI is better able to ask the proper questions of the student who struggles with that particular topic. So this is important. The student's name, that's part of the seating chart. When you try to associate their face with their name and write their name down and say it out loud and look at them and make that association. If you can't remember a student's name after a couple days and you don't have that many students, that student, they feel kind of lost. You're not their guide, you're not their mentor, you don't even know their name. How could you help them through this course effectively? You know what I mean? It almost helps them not feel lonely, if you will. And then the other part is you have to ask these students questions and test their knowledge. If you just covered a topic, what I found is that it's the students that ask a lot of questions I don't have to worry about. But if I ask the student a question, if they constantly go, oh, don't worry about me, I got it, let's just keep going. Don't worry, I got it, let's just keep going. I've had several students that do this, and in the end, it turned out they did not have it, and we should not have kept going. Because they just kept saying, yeah, keep going, it's great, don't worry, it's great, I'm good, we're good, I got it, let's go, keep going. It's almost like a panic or like a defense mechanism. That student might not be ready. That's the one you got to watch out for. It's the students that ask questions and beat things to death, and you can it's almost a little bit like annoying or taxing, but they're learning. That's why they're asking all the questions. They ask the questions, ask the questions. You give them good answers. Keep giving good answers. They keep asking questions, even though the questions might be nuanced. That student is putting things together. They're putting the information together and relating it to things in their life and making sense of it. Identify why students need the license. Now, this Train the Trainer course is essentially wrapped around USCG approved captain's license courses, mostly National Master, like OUPV, Master 100, all the way up to Master 200. That's essentially what we're allowed to do as an approved course, up to 200. And you got to figure out why the students need training. If they're a charter fisherman and that's all they want to do, they can get away with the 6-pack. But a master can open more possibilities to like a head boat. All of a sudden they go from fishing with 6 to fishing with 20. And also, let's say an example is a sailor. These kids are on like a schooner, right? And they want to take out 47 passengers on this 100-foot schooner, let's say. Well, in order to drive that schooner, you need a master's license and you need a sailing endorsement. So you got to identify why they want this license so you can ensure that the training they signed up for is the training they need. Along those lines. Cool. And another thing is, again, this course is wrapped around USCG approved courses. Generally, our instructors are going to be teaching these USCG courses. And students will come into the course thinking that when they complete the course, they get a captain's license, poof, like it just appears. Sometimes they aren't aware there's an entire application process, and the certificate of completion from the Coast Guard approved course, it just checks one box in the application. Now you've met the testing requirements. So make sure they know the certificate of completion from their Coast Guard approved course meets the testing requirements and is one part of the application process. They need to understand they need the application, sea service, physical, drug test, CPR and first aid, TWIC, pay.gov, all of these. And to start that process right away, start looking into it. Hand them all out applications, fill them out. We also have an application generator on our website. They can go to website uscaptainstraining.com. You can go there and you can fill in a form I have. It'll autofill a full application. It's 22-page PDF. It prints out of it. It's got all this application, sea service, physical, drug test. It even has an oath form. And that will start the process out for these students. So right when you get into one of these classes, just to summarize, you need to introduce yourself, kind of what you're all about, and have the students introduce themselves. Take notes, match the faces and names right away, make these guys comfortable, identify why they need to get a license, and make sure they are in the proper courses, OUPV, Master, Sailing, Towing. All these, make sure they're good to go. And then make sure that they are aware there's a full application process and that application is probably going to cost them, depending on their situation, it's probably going to cost around $500. So just put all that out there, get up front. It's a good introduction to the course and getting everybody on the same page.